Time and time again, I have let fear and doubt run my life. And let's just say, looking back over the years, there was a lot of things I was actually capable of doing. I was just scared of nothing. So, for this past year of me being on YouTube, I've slowly but surely been leaving my little bubble called the comfort zone. I learned to take more risk, and I learned what I'm actually willing to sacrifice in order to make real progress on my short-term and long-term goals. So, how did I do it? Constant reflection. This was my key to accountability, which led me to consistency. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 exercises that I personally use to get out of that lazy girl era, stop procrastinating out of fear, and accomplish things solely because I wanted to. And one example being this YouTube channel. So, let's do a quick reflection time. So grab out your pen and paper and let's begin. Exercise 1. Are you inspired or are you fearful? Let's first talk about these dreams and goals of yours. Do you really want them or not? Are you doing them out of fear or are you doing them because you're inspired? Let's start by filtering out the top 5 most important goals that you have. Got them? Great. Now cross out 2 to 3 of them and you should be left with 2 or 3 things that you really want. These should be goals that inspire you, not the ones you're doing just out of fear. Are you inspired to keep your family healthy? Are you inspired to create content for others? Are you inspired to be financially well off? Or are you doing something only in fear or based off of what others might think of your appearance? Give this some thought and make sure you pick some goals you're going to focus on in 2025 because you actually want to do them, not necessarily based off of the external reasons. By proceeding with your goal, by just the sake of you doing it, it can create a whole ripple effect on other aspects of your life, unintentionally creating more positive outcomes. Now you may be thinking, if you're choosing goals that are 100% based off of your own internal reasons, you'd have no doubts, right? Well, fortunately and unfortunately, we're all human and we all still have doubts that creep in. Another way that you can get past the fear is to actually use fear itself to sort of drive you in the opposite direction. Let me explain. Exercise number 2, creating your anti-vision. Another question you should be asking yourself is, what would my life look like if I didn't do this thing or achieve this goal? Once you do have your burning desire and goal in mind, what would your life look like if you didn't actually start working on it? What would you be doing with your time? If this goal is so important to you and you'd rather be spending your time doing something else, would you be happy with yourself? Would you be happy where your life is going to end up if you don't put in the work and commit to your goal? Are you just going to sit there in the discomfort of knowing you had a goal and never trying? It's a lot to think about, and it may sound a little bit negative, but create a story of how upset you might be if you don't achieve this. What are your future regrets of having not tried? This may sound all counterintuitive to the previous step where you're not motivated by fear, but it's equally as important to reflect on your current life and your current habits and where they're actually taking you. If you're comfortable, you will stay comfortable. You will never need to change because you think life is just fine. But sooner or later down the road, you might think to yourself, is there more to life? Or is my body just going to stay stuck in the day-to-day routine? It's simple. Those who want more out of this life need to put in a little bit extra effort in the right places, of course. So creating this anti-vision is calling out the habits that are pushing you in the opposite direction of where your dream self wants to be. It's only then that you can create new habits to get you headed in the right direction. Exercise number 3, create new habits to replace the old ones. You can't keep putting in the same inputs expecting a different outcome. You need to be putting in new habits that will create new and different outcomes. I'm not saying that all habits are bad, but there are some that could potentially be restricting you from working towards your personal goals. Let's take a look at a day in the life. How do you wake up? What is the very first thing that you do? Is it getting out of bed, starting a cup of coffee, or brushing your teeth? Or do you lay in bed for hours on end just scrolling on your phone? Now, what about after breakfast? Are you working out? Or do you just kind of mindlessly clean your house for a while, just because you have a few hours of time to kill? You need to be calling out the habits that are distracting you from getting the more important ones done. The house can be cleaned later in the day. You can have phone and TV time after you've completed those more important tasks. But utilizing those mornings or early times in the day, I see countless people taking advantage of. Because in reality, right after you wake up, you more likely have more energy and focus. Think of your daily habits as a point system, adding points for habits that you complete that get you towards your goal, and minus points for the ones that don't really get you towards your goal. This could be, instead of getting a cookie before lunch, -1 point. Try getting a healthier snack if you can't get to your lunch right away, +1 point. Experiment and find new habits that will gain you points instead of taking them away. The more points you subtract in a day, the longer and harder it will be to get from point A to B. So hopefully these quick and easy exercises help you to open up your mind and to understand that in order to eliminate fear of starting, you must focus internally when choosing your goals, and that you can actually use fear as a form of reflection. You have to really want your goals, no matter what. If you're doing something just because someone said so, that's an external reason, and you won't be able to find your internal motives when things get hard. And you aren't being true to yourself, and you will constantly be telling yourself lies and doubting your true desires. It sounds so cheesy, but be true to yourself this 2025. Even if you seem like you're going down the wrong path, have trust in yourself that you will figure it out and find a new one, or create a new one. Nobody else can do that for you. But that all being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.